Uh-oh, I've got to be careful in what I say, huh?
That's correct. Thanks, everybody, for joining our joint team call. It's Tuesday night. It's the first Tuesday in November, and Tammy and I thought this would be an awesome time to just start. We're going to the first Tuesday of every month, we're going to have a guest speaker, and who better to start that off with than Stu Brodie? And like Tammy said, we do go way back as friends, and far back to when my hair did not need to be naturalized, and we were even in another network marketing company. And everybody's kind of heard the story about, I retired from network marketing in '98. I'm going to mute everybody here. Let's see. Okay, so at any rate, the Stu did not give up. For 12 years, he kept pursuing me and trying to get me back into another network marketing company. And when he found this one, it was the right one. And we got involved a little over 9 years ago, and it's been the best thing ever. So, but beyond that, it's really the friendship. And, we think of Stu like family, and Carla and the girls, and couldn't be happier to have you on. And so we wanted you to get on, Stu, and just share your wisdom, and it's all yours. So I'm going to unmute you there, and it's all yours.
Well, this is going to be a short meeting, I guess, huh? With all my wisdom. Then you can put that in a thimble, man. A thimble. Hey, I'm really excited to be here. And the reason I'm here is because I was the only one that volunteered. They couldn't get anybody. No, that's not true. Anyway, it's great seeing all your faces, and it'll probably distract me, but that's okay. I want to leave some time for you guys to ask questions. I don't know. I mean, everybody's going to be here at a different point in time in their career, their involvement in the company. We've been involved for 9.5 years, and Judy was one of the first people that I actually spoke to. It's just gratifying to see what Judy and Tammy and so many other people have been able to accomplish. And I'm just in gratitude and just amazed at what has happened in our life. That's for sure. And it can happen to anybody. I mean, there's people that are coming into our business that are just huge people. I mean, not only big in network marketing, but they just have, just incredible contacts. They just know a lot of people, and that helps because, make no doubt about it. I mean, this is a numbers game, and it is about people, and it's about helping people, and it's about reducing inflammation and pain, and all those really important things. But you've got to go through the numbers. You got to find people's pain. You got to talk to them. You got to find out where they're at. And if they're not ready, you've got to just follow up, like I did with Judy. And there's other people that it took me a year or 2 years. I shouldn't say me. It took them a year or 2 years to either look at the information or get engaged. And I'd like to say that this is really a self-selection process. So you're here by self-selection. I hope that nobody sold you or, got you down on the ground and kind of buy or die kind of thing. I've tried not to sell anybody. I just try to, give them, informative information, if that, is kind of redundant or oxymoron, reference material to look at on their own so that they can make their own decision. I really don't want to talk anybody into it. I've been told a long time ago, and it makes reference to man, and I'm not, again, I'm gender neutral, but the saying goes, convince a man against his will and he's of the same opinion still. So I just try to avoid that like the plague. And we always talk about timing. If it's now o'clock in their life, if they're ready, they're going to take action, whatever appropriate action that is, whether they become a customer or they decide to engage. So I'm not sure exactly where to start here. I just got to tell you that I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. I've really made my way in life by working hard and trying to do the best I could. I think when I was younger, I know I had dyslexia and ADD, although it wasn't diagnosed way back then. I was just a crazy kid. I was looking for a lot of attention. I would stand up in the middle of the class and just be the classroom clown. I was always in trouble, always in trouble. And then my dad died and things kind of changed a little bit. And I don't know if I grew up or if I just realized that I had some difficulties and I learned to live with those difficulties and work around them. But even today, I mean, Carla could be looking over my shoulder, my wife could be looking over my shoulder, and I'll write a check or do something and she'll say, I think you have those numbers interchanged. So being a cop and then being in banking isn't really a good thing for somebody that's dyslexic and has ADD. But I made it through, and I was somewhat successful. And I kind of stumbled on network marketing a little over 30 years ago. And I was really fortunate because I did have these, I'll call them handicaps or whatever you want to call them, learning process problems, whatever. And so I had to keep things really, really simple. And fortunately, my sponsor, 31 years ago, a guy by the name of Mark, he decided that he was going to videotape a presentation, and he put it on a VHS. And all we had to do was find people with a warm body, that had a warm body, they weren't dead, and would they be open to taking a look at something? And I remembered some key things, and that is, are you open? Are you open to looking at something? Are you open to having a better life? Are you open to being home more with your spouse and your kids? Are you open to playing golf more? Are you open? Are you open? Are you open? Are you open to change? Are you open to getting out of the rat race that you've built for yourself? Because many of us, we get involved in businesses or in some kind of activity, and before you know it, we're 40 or 50 years old. We've got mortgages and kids we're trying to put through college, and we've got all this debt, and we only have so many hours we can work. And I think that's the great American nightmare, is that most people take jobs, and we don't train people to be entrepreneurs. I never got a class in keeping your checkbook, as minimal as that. And when I opened my own business up years ago, I mean, it was a rude awakening. I talk about the fact that I had 4 partners. The IRS was one partner. My landlord was another partner. I had employees I had to pay, or they weren't going to come around. And then I had, all my fixed and variable expenses. I'm telling you, I worked a lot. And when there wasn't enough to be paid, or there wasn't enough to pay expenses, I opened up my wallet. I opened up my checkbook to make those payments. So life can be somewhat of a nightmare if we get on the wrong track. And here we have a safety net, and we have something that's very, very special. I'll just really briefly, I don't really need to talk about this, but I think I feel compelled to, is that you've got a company that does absolutely everything. When I was in business, I did absolutely everything. And thank goodness I didn't have to source, raw materials, and I didn't have to manufacture raw materials, and I didn't have to do all the science and all that stuff. Here, the company has a complete accounting department that pays us on time. Thank goodness. I haven't been paid late once since I've started in this company. They track your entire organization worldwide. We've got a seamless marketing plan. So you have somebody in Japan, you're going to get paid just like they were in the United States. We've got, an incredible website where you just go up to the flag on the left-hand side on your replicable website. You drop down and you can open up any country, and your people in other countries can open up any country and order products right then and there and do the business right then and there. They've got all the tools they need to get started with. Company, again, sources all the materials, does all the science, does all the manufacturing. They ship for us. We don't have to have inventory like we used to have years ago. They absolutely do everything. We only have one job. And you even have a complete training program you can plug people into now. The code or whoever your leader is using your upline. But I mean, that's going to teach you everything about social media, how to contact people, what to say, how to get them trained. I mean, it's an automated system if you've ever wanted one. All we have to do is invite, contact, show, and follow up. I mean, that's really, really the bottom line. I mean, we can get in between, the rails and talk about, using your upline as a 3-way call for validation. which I did all the time at the beginning because I didn't know how to tell the story. I heard the story a couple times, but I didn't know how to explain it. So I heard it over and over and over and over again until it became mine. So when people in my organization asked me to do three-way calls, I was prepared to do that. So I think what I want to do at this point is just I want to bring us all back down to earth and say that you've got all the elements and all the components to do this as big, as large as you want to, or as small as you want to. If $1,000 a month is going to, float your boat, man, that's definitely possible and not hard to accomplish for most. If it's more grandiose ideas, that's obviously possible. I mean, I'm sitting here. I'd like to tell you how much my checks are, but it's being recorded. I'll just tell you that I'm probably making what a Pro 10 makes. If you look at the Pro 10 average income, I'm proud about it. I'm humble about it. It's just an enormous amount of money. But we've been able to set up a legacy for our kids and their kids. And as long as they don't go crazy buying $1 million homes, that money will last our grandkids and their kids forever. I mean, it just is unbelievable how much compounding occurs when you save even 10% of your check every month. So we get caught in this thing called the great American dream, having a house, having a car, being married, having kids, having a job. And we think we've got the world by the tail. And all of a sudden we wake up one day and we realize that we might have a nightmare here. I know I see Becky here. Becky's husband is a famous attorney. I'll say a relatively famous attorney, but he's well known in the political arena. And he works all the time. I mean, I used to do meetings at Becky's house or show up when she did a meeting. And I mean, John was hardly ever home. He'd come walking in at 7 or 8 o'clock at night, in his suit. I'd rather spend more time with Carla. I'd rather travel around the world. I'd rather help other people. I'd rather be with my grandkids and my kids than do anything else, any other thing. I'd rather do those things. I mean, you only have one life, and man, it can be short, right, Terza? I mean, you just never know what's going to happen around the corner. We've all lost loved ones to all kinds of different diseases and stuff, and here we have just an incredible opportunity to help a lot of people. So I'll call, I've heard this said from stage a bunch of times, and I'm just going to, again, repeat it, and that is you want to dig the well before you're thirsty. Judy and I, we've got these people that we know. I'd like to call them friends, although I haven't seen them for ages. And they live in Florida. And their son was out with his wife and child, and they were boating in Florida. And they got in an accident and killed the wife and the child. Their life is never going to be the same ever, ever, ever again. And it happens just that quick. We are also fortunate that we're here, that we're healthy, hopefully healthy, and that we can learn and grow and help others do the same. And that's really the blessing that we have. And I've preached this from the very first day when I wasn't making any money in this business to today. I haven't changed one bit. It's all about the product. The product is glue that holds everything together. So it's about 15 minutes after the hour, and I was told I have 16 minutes, so I have 1 more minute to do all this. So what I really want to talk to you about is keeping it really, really simple for people. People have really high stress lives, and we don't want to put any more stress on them. So you look for an opening. When somebody complains a lot, you could say, are you serious about doing something about that? I mean, I've heard you talk about that before. And wait for them to answer. And I would never say, I have the solution for you. I say, I might have an option you might want to take a look at. Are you open to looking at something? Back to that, are you open? And it's over and over and over again. We've all had jobs, right? And we've all done the same job like a cookie cutter over and over and over. Every job I've had, it's been routinized. It's the same thing over and over. Well, it's the same thing here, except you're going to meet some absolutely incredible people that are going to change your life. And you're going to probably change their life, and you will travel around the world with them, and you'll make friends forever. So it's really an incredible environment where It's people helping people, and I love that. So my invite was really short and sweet, and you really have like 4 or 5 different invites. It's going to depend on your relationship with that person. Obviously, you haven't spoken to them for a while, people that you're close with, and then social media is a whole different animal. You're going to arouse curiosity with those you know and those you don't know, because my whole objective is one thing, and that is to show the video. Have them watch the video. And people kind of laugh when I say this, but I'm serious, and I guess it goes hand in glove with what we're doing, is I check for a pulse. Are they warm? It's sort of like, we used to play the game hide the eraser or whatever. Are they cold? Are they warm? Or are they hot? And you just got to check their temperature. And however that conversation ends, it's going to be something with me. I'm going to say, thanks for your time. Appreciate you looking at it. Do you mind if I stay in touch with you and just keep in touch and let you know how I'm doing? Not I'm going to pester you for the rest of your life, nothing like that. And I try to create that invite without saying supplement, business opportunity, or anything like that, because that gets down a slippery slope, and you start getting questions. And I really want to minimize the questions, because my goal is to get them to watch the video. So what is it? It's a breakthrough technology. Are you available to watch it now, or would later on today be better for you? An alternative close. Not that I'm trying to close them. I'm just trying to close them on a time when they'll watch the video. I just want to have them watch the video. And if they say, well, Stu, come on, can you tell me more? I'm going to always say no. I may not be that abrupt, but I'm going to say, you know what? It's like a cell phone or a text message. I can't really explain how it works. I can just tell you it works, and it's unbelievable. Are you available now, or, later tonight? What's best for you? I just want them to watch the video. Very seldom will I send it in a text message, although you can if you set it up properly, or in an email. I remember a guy, and Judy, you might remember this guy, I don't know, but his name was John Calsey. And John Calsey was the defensive coordinator for LSU, just an awesome, awesome guy. He sold Bengal chemical insect spray, and he was fairly successful in the South. He was from the piney woods of Ruston, Louisiana, and I love this guy. And when I talked to him about this, he ended up buying our biggest package available at the time. And I tried to stay in touch with him, but he was teaching school, and it was hard, and he didn't really text message, so I had to leave messages or send emails, and you know how that gets. But I tried to stay in touch with as much as possible. And a year later, John got a hold of me in an email, and he said, hey, I need another one of those packages. And I really didn't understand it. What are you talking about, John? And I said, you never really worked the business. And he was huge in the first business I got involved in. He was one of my biggest legs. And he said, well, I sent the email out to 15 people and nobody responded. And I looked at that and I read it and I said, really, there's no use of me, talking to them about it. But the first thing that crossed my mind is, did you even find out if they got the email? Did you follow up at all? Because, we talk about the fortunes and the follow-up in this industry, and I can tell you that is absolutely true. It took me a number of times before I decided to get started in anything, in almost any endeavor. I wanted time to think. I didn't want pressure. I wanted to make my own decision. I wanted to talk it over with Carla. So I love the idea that, I really don't care what people think of me. It's like, I just don't care, because they're going to have and formulate an opinion of me no matter what I do. It doesn't make any difference. So I just don't care what people think. And when I first looked at this, I went out to Carla. She was sitting in the backyard reading. Carla reads a lot. She reads for both of us. And I said, you want to go with me to meet the president of the company? And she got angry, and she got, she started, getting emotional. And I said, what's wrong? And she said, what are people going to think of you? And guess what I said? I don't care. If people like me, great. If they don't like me for some reason because I comb my hair wrong, or I wear a hat all the time, or I can't do anything about their perception of me. Just like you know, I mean, I perceive people a certain way. I mean, you are who you are, and I mean, take it or leave it. I mean, yeah, I'd love to please everybody, but you know what? That ain't possible in this lifetime. So I don't even try. I just do the best I can. I treat everybody like I'd be treated, and move on. So, you know what I'd like to do, that we've got about maybe 7 or 8 minutes left. I'd love to open this up. I think you can just click on the bottom left at your speaker or microphone and ask questions. It's so hard to sit here in a half an hour and try to encapsulate everything. But before I do, I just want to tell you, the biggest thing about this that I can impress upon you, the reason banks are banks and brokerage companies are brokerage companies and they're making so much money, is a thing called compounded growth. And I mean, if you just think about this, I mean, you know, I'm going to be talking to some brand new people tomorrow that have never been in network marketing. And what I'm going to talk about, instead of trying to show them the comp plan and have them understand that, I'm going to say, you know, hey, John, what if you, and I want you to visualize your best friend, okay? And let's say that your best friend agrees, sees what you see, and they get involved with you. So in month 1, there's 2 of you. You know, and you each make a pact that you're going to go out the next month and you're each going to get 1 person, okay? So the next month, each of you go out. Now there's 4 of you. And the next month, you 4 decide that you're each going to get 1. Then there's 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 5, 12, 1,024, 2,048, or 49, whatever it is, I forget now, and 4,096. It must be 48. Anyway, the bottom line is that if everybody just did $200 a month, having 4 or 5 customers that were just on NERF 2, which would be a shame, but I'm just being real simple here. So you met the 200 a month, and everybody else did exactly the same. They got, and even if they bought 200 themselves and they gave a couple bottles or sold a couple bottles, in a year, in 12 months, because of that geometric progression, perfect arithmetic progression, your group would be doing $840,000. You would have recruited 12 people. You'd probably be, you know, at least, I would say a high 9, because the reason, you know, I earn so much is because the 9 goes from, you know, 500,000 to $1 million. Well, just imagine if you're doing 5 million a month. It's going to change that whole equation, right? So, but that's the difference of 9s. You can be making you can be creating 500,000 a month to 999,000 a month, and that spread, I mean, you could be making $1 million a year as a 9. So anyway, my point in doing that is that that's $840,000. If you took just 5% of that, don't take the check match. Don't take any other bonuses that you'd receive, like the 7, 8, 9 pool. Just 5%. You know, you'd be making about $500,000 a year. Not bad. So let's say that people quit. Let's say half of them quit. You're still making 250. Another half quit, 125,000. Another half quit, 62,000. 62,000 is more than the average American makes in a year. It's $5,000 a month. Could you use another $5,000 a month? So, I mean, it just makes total sense to me. And it's like, if you have a burning desire, look for people that have a big contact base, that are really excited, that want to create a legacy and want to do something and help other people. I mean, that's really the key. So I burned about 4 minutes. So I just want to open it up to you guys. And I mean, if you've got a question that you want, that you're, you know, dying to ask, please, you know, go ahead and do it. I'll tell you whatever I can tell you. I don't know much.
Does anybody have a question for Stu?
I was just going to say, Stu, tell us more about, some people might not have checked their email tonight or seen your Facebook post, but tell us what got you excited today enough to almost go live. You didn't, but to almost go live, and what Aaron was sending you. Your daughter, Aaron.
I've been following this guy by the name of Dave Asprey for years. There was a guy in my group, I remember his name was Gatterson, and I can't remember his first name, but he came to a couple of elite academies. He got hired by the IRS or the FBI, you know, whatever, got a pretty nice position, but he turned me on to Dave, and Dave owns this company called Bulletproof, and they've got a lot of really clean products. I mean, the guy's a huge entrepreneur, and you're probably going to read good and bad about him, just like we have people that write bad about us. You know, I mean, what are you going to do? Jealousy, whatever, pharmaceutical companies, whatever. But the point is, he wrote a book. He's written several books, but the latest book is superhuman. And all I got to tell you is I'm sitting here. I mean, Erin's bugging me, sending me texts. She's in Boston. So she's sending me texts and video of the kids and, oh my God, Dad, you got to see this, and oh my, and this. And I'm going, I'm trying to get some stuff done. And finally she sends me a couple excerpts, and I just went, my jaw just dropped. And I went out and I bought the book on audio, and I'm, audible.com, and I'm on chapter 3, and I'm just going, oh my, this guy's talking about everything we know: oxidative stress, mitochondria dysfunction, restricting caloric intake to live longer, and 7 different pillars. And I mean, I'm just going, holy smokes. So regardless of his ulterior motives of making money or whatever, you got to take it for what it's worth. And it's a huge, huge validation of what we're doing here. And I mean, I just can say we're becoming on the forefront of like, we've been in the front of this whole biohacking and everything with Nerf 2. And I mean, now people are going to know about it. So you could show them the book, you could talk about the book, but I mean, it's going to be all over the place as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I think the veil's been lifted, and the pretty woman has shown her face. And I mean, I think it's just a matter of time now. It's going to be unbelievable. Get the book. It's worth it. It's validation. I used to use Sanjay Gupta's book when he was talking. He must have mentioned Protandem 21 times or more in his book, chasing life. Same kind of thing, reduction of oxidative stress. I mean, it's huge. We're sitting on something that you may come around once or twice in a lifetime. And here we have it right in our hands, and we can just share it with other people and just go about our business. And I mean, wow, what could be better? Unbelievable. So thank you for reminding me, Tammy. That's awesome. And yeah, it's on my Facebook page, and I sent it out to my back office. The first link was the wrong link, so I sent out the right link a little while ago. But man, I'm telling you, I'm not done, but he gives you a lot of ideas about biohacking the body and being healthy, living longer. I want to live a long time. Don't you, Judy?
Absolutely.
We love our grandbabies, man.
Yes.
We love our grandbabies.
Yes.
There's nothing like it. Nothing like it.
Ain't gonna lie. Stu, while we're waiting on a question, most of what you talked about tonight, you're really doing the same thing that you did from the beginning. But if you had an opportunity to go back 9.5 years when we started, is there anything that you would be doing differently then than you had done when you first started?
I don't think so. Recognizing the success that I've been blessed with, I may have done more. I'd probably be a 10 by now. I probably stopped a little early. I would probably have incorporated social media. It's just absolutely huge. I mean, I put that book out there, and I mean, there were like 300 people that responded within an hour or so. I mean, the reach that you have in social media is just beyond description. And we've got people that are in our company now. I mean, I'm not going to name them all because there's a lot of them that have created Pro 7, Pro 8, Pro 9, and now Pro 10 positions using just social media. I mean, it works. So if you don't know, there's a guy by the name of Justin Prince. You can pay $99 and get his classes. You can go to the code .training, and there's a bunch of classes on how to do social media back there. But it's really a matter of just sticking your foot in and just getting started and just doing it. And it's like anything else, you feel a little weird at first, a little uncomfortable, but the more you do, the better you get. So that's a great question, Judy.
Anybody else? This is a great opportunity. We've got about 5 minutes left. Can't believe this.
I can go. I'm wound up. I'm excited. I'm pumped.
Guys, ask a question. Come on. You always have questions. You only have a couple minutes. Go.
Stu, do you show the entire ABC report?
Judy and I, we massaged that like unbelievable. We could have become massage therapists. Let me tell you. We did a lot of different iterations of the ABC. We first cut it like you see it now on some sites. We took out some stuff that we really didn't care for. And then we tagged on another video called The Breakthrough. We tried a lot of different things. We started with like the 4-minute video, almost, it was 5, we cut it down a little bit. And then we went to the double video, which was about 10 or 11 minutes. But here's the point, is it all worked. No matter what we used, it worked because the right people that were supposed to see it saw it, and they did something about it, and they took action. And sometimes it takes people a little while, you know, to get a handle on it and to recognize it, and that's why you stay in touch with them. But the bottom line is that it all works. It all works.
And I would add to that. It all works with the right person, but it also has to do with your authentic excitement when you give it to somebody. You called us and you said, you will not believe this. You have got to watch this. You didn't tell us anything about it.
No.
And we didn't even finish the video. So it was your enthusiasm and our interest. I mean, we were ripe. It was the right timing for us.
Yeah, you were open.
But it was also your enthusiasm. I mean, if you'd have called and said, hey, you know, sometime if you don't mind, take a look at this, we probably never would have.
Yeah, urgency. But I'll tell you that, man, as God is my witness, as I sit before you today, I have never, ever, ever, ever lost that enthusiasm for Protandem, and for the way I feel and what I'm able to do at 70 years old. I just feel amazing that I found it, that I took it, and I just feel like totally blessed. You know, like it's got to be by divine intervention, that's for sure, because there were too many coincidences that occurred to make this happen. And I would have had to be a horse with blinders on, not to recognize it and take action. I mean, it was just so obvious to me. From the time that my dad died at 14 years old of a massive coronary, and then being with New Skin 31 years ago, and having a doctor come into that company when we launched a nutritional product line with chelated minerals, talking about free radicals, which was my introduction to free radicals and what free radicals do. And that's 31 years ago. Fast forward to today and look what they're finding out about longevity, and our product is the only supplement that extends lifespan. I mean, come on. It's like, this is surreal. It really, really is. When you really stop to think about the collaborative effort and the amount of literature, not only about NERV2, but about oxidative stress and what they discovered about caloric restriction, it's like, wow, are we in the right place at the right time?
We really are. And I don't want to cut you off, but we have less than a minute, and I don't want to let it go by without saying thanks so much, Stu.
Yep.
I'll have this recording up for everybody who wants it, and I'll send it to Stu as well. Thanks again, Stu.
Yep.
You're the best.
Thank you, Judy. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you all for showing up. Thank you for being here, and thanks for all you do.
All right.
Love you all. Take care.
Love you
Good
more.
night now.
Thank you,
Good night.
Thank you, Stu.
Yep,
Bye-bye.
thank you. Yep. Good night now.